The Northern Arctic Federal University is proud to present an innovative project that combines science and education in the study of the Arctic territories. The objectives of the project, named Arctic Floating University, are obtaining knowledge about the ecosystems of the indigenous water areas and coastal territories of the Russian Federation Arctic Zone, training of specialists in Arctic conditions, the development of scientific educational collaboration, promoting the idea of working in polar conditions among young people. The project has been carried on the research vessel Professor Molchanov. This ship has everything necessary for educational process and scientific research. Near Archangel, Cape Zylania, on the islands of the Novaha Zemlya archipelago, a number of scientific experiments were performed over 20 days, including biodiversity of the Arctic and subarctic, adaptability and risks in terms of modern climate change, meteorological studies, ecology of the Arctic seas and territories. The following general studies were also undertaken: geology, collaboration and security issues, cultural landscapes, human adaptation to Arctic conditions. Before landing, all participants are briefed on safety. Supervisors define the locations for field research. Because of difficult weather conditions, the first landing could only take place on 11th of July, with landfall on the Cape Valley. Polar Meteorological Station, this located on the shore of the Barents Sea at the entrance to the Strait of Ugra-Bol. On the Cape Valley there is an abandoned gulag that was liquidated in September 1944. By June 12, Molchanov reached the island of Vygash, where researchers visited the village of Varnek, which was founded in the 1930s, where nearby are the abandoned mines of the Gulag. Research was conducted by biologists and sociologists and a team of meteorologists. On the island, a group of doctors obtained data on the health of the indigenous population of the island. The whole village is contained in one long street. The population comprises Nenets, Russian and Komi. The main activity is reindeer breeding. Varnek, the village, provided perfect conditions to work within the agreed framework of biodiversity of the Arctic. There was ample scope to collect samples and see at first hand the living material in order to determine the taxonomic composition and community structure of the different habitats. In the 1930s, there was a special camp called Vygash, built to service the extraction of metal-bearing ores, but mine was only worked for a short time because of severe flooding. On June 13, the Professor Molchanov sailed with its researchers to Bay Dolgaya. The researchers went in search of the cemetery, which they found. There were more than a dozen graves, marked by elongated stone plates. There were also the remains of several wooden crosses. Commercial fishing vessels worked in the bay. By the 1940s, a commercial base had been created with its own medical clinic and a school. However, the base at Bay Dolgaya did not last long. By the 1950s, all activity at the bay had stopped. By June 16, the research ship reached Ruskaia and work was continued. Here, the expedition team went in search of a polar station, which unfortunately could not be found. Ruskaia, the harbour, is a bay where ships can moor, allowing access to the entire Novaya Zemlya archipelago. The local polar station, built in 1932, was closed in 1993. This sad legacy of the Soviet period of Arctic exploration has only some abandoned equipment and barrels of fuel to show for all the efforts. There has now been implemented a state programme to clean up this Arctic region. The expedition visited the Shokalskoga Glacier. On this sunny day, all that could be heard was the cracking and crashing of falling ice, and from this massive icebergs are being formed. The nearby bay of Inostranseva provided a unique opportunity for geological studies. The bay was formed over 500 million years ago when the Novaya Zemlya archipelago had a tropical climate. Students working on the ship were taught about the ship's power systems and were encouraged to measure the vibration and noise level in the engine room, the cabin, and the restaurant to see if the noise levels were within international accepted parameters. The expedition landed 5 people from the National Russian Arctic Parks Department at Cape Zylania. They will remain there to carry out maintenance and repair to enable the area to be used for visits and local excursions. Cape Zylania is the northern extremity of Novaya Zemlya archipelago and was named de Hochbegard by Willem Barents. Since the 1930s, there has been a polar station at Cape Zylania. Now it will be the base for the Russian National Parks Department. The lighthouse located on the Cape Zylania was built in the 1930s, and in 2015 the lighthouse was restarted to help guide seafarers to navigate this difficult area of sea. In 2016, the students worked in the ship to perform scientific research in the Arctic. The project was approved by the Public Chamber of the Russian Federation. According to the decree of the President of Russia, 2017 will be the year of ecology. It is planned that the ship will become an Arctic floating university and will be engaged in the exploration of the Franz Josef area.